Hola, hola.
Hola.
I wanted to know if you had any recommendations de libro o film o comida o algo. So what's your answer? Sorry, my phone died. That was or not my phone died. My memory was full.
Okay, so what was the question again?
The question is if you have any recommendations, like for food or for I can't think. Movies or music or
The
algo.
movies are a disaster there. I don't like any of the Dominican movies.
Okay.
They're trying though. The food. Food.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Plátano Power. That's plantain. And like mashed plátanos. That's mashed. In Mexico, they call it machos, but there are no machos. They are green plantains.
¿Cómo que se llama eso?
Plátano.
Sí, no, pero estoy diciendo like when they're all smoosh.
Mangú.
Mangú, gracias.
Mangú, with fried eggs, which I don't eat because I eat, but from time to time only. I prefer to have a hard-boiled egg. Anyway, so the merengue is the music to go. I'm more fond of Cuban music. Shh, don't tell the Dominicans that. But I like very much the bachata. I just found out not long ago that everybody thinks that bachata is, synonym or, like a Dominican thing. It actually started in Puerto Rico.
Oh, of course. Everything good that's Dominican.
But that was at the beginning of the century, and the Puerto Ricans just let it go. That was, within the mountain, like the very campesinos, the farmers, and they play that. And then we know, but the Dominicans changed it, and with the instruments and that, and kept it going, and they love the bachata, which was before thought of like the tango was thought in Argentina, something that only was danced and heard in a very in some bars, and not the privileged class didn't they off that was forbidden or ignored, and now it happens to be some of the bachata is one of the things that the Dominicans are very proud of. It doesn't matter, without regardless of the social status of whatever Dominican is listening to, they just love it. That's what I think. So, and when it comes to books, I don't know. I read Junot once, and I wasn't.
No me gustó mucho. I mean, I've only read one of his.
Some people like it, but I was not very impressed.
Which one did you read? Do you remember?
The first one.
This is the story of Oscar Wao, the brief wonders.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. I'm gonna try to read that this month.
The first one, yeah. So, but I preferred the classics, and I read. I'm still waiting for you to send me the
history.
History of, but it's a historical book based on Trujillo and his 30 years of terror on the island. So written by Galindez, was a Spanish immigrant into the Dominican Republic after, like running away from Franco in the 30s, I think, the 30s. And he worked for Trujillo. He knew very well what was going on, and then he couldn't take it anymore. He came to the United States, became a professor at Columbia University, and he was kidnapped by Trujillo after he wrote the book about that. Yes, it's very interesting. He was kidnapped by a poor guy by the last name of Murphy, very young guy who wanted to be a pilot and couldn't get a license here. It's a very interesting story. And so he was hired. So from penniless, he became very fancy, had a lot of money. paid by the regime, but he didn't know what a mess he was getting in himself into. Ended up in the Caribbean Sea, infested with sharks. Trujillo killed him because he didn't want, after Galindez was killed on the island, Trujillo didn't want any witnesses, but I'm not sure if that's the whole truth. So it has something to do also with the Batista regime in Cuba and all the things that Murphy knew while working for Trujillo, because a lot of Dominicans were on the island and Trujillo was an arch enemy. It was the nemesis of Batista, and although he hated communism and Fidel Castro too, but there was he wanted to how do you call it, to perform, to do a coup d'etat and get rid of Batista. And so, it's history. Just so we're going back to the books. Yeah, I'm sorry I cannot recommend.
No hay
any.
mucho. I mean,
there are no.
Yeah.
We have a lot of It's just that
translated into English.
I don't know, because you see, most of those writers live here in the States. Yeah. So I am not sure.
Oh well.
Yeah, I read. I read books from here and there and anywhere, but the Dominican books. Well, I read some from the Alvarez girl.
I'm gonna try to read hers too.
Yeah,
though. How the Garcia
but
girl saws
I'm an Allende. I'm a Marquez girl. When it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
know.
Latin American writers, I have my hands full with those, and Josa, a lot of this, but Dominicans. There's a lot of good baseball players, though.
Gracias, mommy. Hey guys, so I just wanted to mention that I'm not making like a Dominican meal tonight. I'm cooking artichokes and making a salad, but I'm also gonna make tostones out of plátanos. So there's two different ways to cook plátanos, at least that I'm aware of, tostones and maduros. So tostones you make with unripened plantains, I guess, and then the more ripe they get, the less green, the more yellow, then they kind of become sweeter, and so then you would make a maduro. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I'm having like a brain fart. The green ones are the ones that are not ripe. I hope so, because that's how I'm cooking them tonight. Babe, do you know? Green means unripe in general, right? Like a green banana is not ripened.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. So anyways, so these you cut into like 1-inch kind of chunks, and then you fry them, and then you take them out, and then you smoosh them so that they're flat, and then you fry them again, and then you put salt on them, and they're delicious. So I have done my first fry of my plátanos. I'm not gonna do the second fry yet because the artichokes have like 30 minutes left, but I am swishing them now while they're still like warm from the first fry. So I'm just gonna show you. I've got this little device. I used to have a better one that was like an actual circle that you could fit the plátano into. I mean, I guess this is fine. And maybe I could do multiple in it. I don't know. I'm afraid to do multiple in it. My mom gave it to me, or it's my mom's and I stole it from her. Also, I spilled my beer all over the place, so please don't judge. So anyway, so this is, the little pieces. You put it in the little thing, and then you go squish, and then it's so perfect and beautiful. Oh, bebe. So I smashed all of those in like 2 seconds. I'm so happy. What was I using before? I think I was using a rolling pin. So I had, like I mentioned, I had like the other one that was round, but it got split. The wood split in half, so I stopped using it. And then when my mom moved to the Dominican Republic, I took a bunch of her. I'm pretty sure that's where that came from. And this must be the first time that I'm using it, which makes no sense because I've definitely made tostones, but that's okay. Maybe I just like didn't know where it was. But it's so easy because of like leverage and everything. It's perfect. All right. Final product. I have had one already, and yes, it is delicious. So I can pretty much 100% tell you that I did something wrong, but I can't tell you what. Well, I kind of think my problem is that I didn't buy chicken that has bone in it. So when I put the chicken in to quote braise it, it just did not work. So there was like sugar and oil at the bottom of this pan, and when I put the chicken in, it was supposed to braise it, but all that happened was that a bunch of liquid left the chicken. So I think I wasn't supposed to use chicken breast, maybe. I don't know. It still tastes good. I just had a little piece of it. I don't know. It's fine. I'm just a little disappointed because I don't think it's what it's supposed to be. And then I also tried to make rice that has concon at the bottom, which if you don't know, I'm so sorry, you're missing out. But I don't think that I succeeded in that either. But I haven't gone to the bottom of the pot yet, so I can't tell you for sure. But this, again, definite fail. It tastes really good, but it's not what it's supposed to be. And this is just a straight fail. But you know, that's what you get. You have to learn from your mistakes. I just want to say I have tried to make my caramel twice, and both times it's caramelized. I'm trying to make flan. Whatever. I need to also wash my hair, but probably not gonna happen tonight. Anyways, yeah. So now I'm watching a video on YouTube to see if YouTube will tell me how to make caramel without it caramelizing. Caramelizing? Caramel. Ugh, caramel. Anyways, I am majorly annoyed. So this, I'm not trying to use this like recipe. Sorry, I'm doing laundry my whole life, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to use this recipe, but they did say to use a non-stick pan, and I've been using an aluminum, like a small aluminum pot. And so now I'm gonna use a non-stick pan, and we'll see. I think it will be more helpful in two factors. One, because there'll be more surface area, so the pot, there won't be like sugar stacked on top of sugar, so it can all kind of get to the right temperature faster. And it being non-stick, I think will help prevent it from caramelizing too. So I'm gonna try it. Fingers crossed that that's just what my problem is, because if I fail on this third time, I'm just gonna have to try this another day, because I do not have the patience to try to make caramel more than 3 times. I'm surprised I'm even trying it a third time, to be honest with you, because I have no patience. Okay, here's my new flan that I just took out of the oven. It definitely was bubbling a little bit, but that's okay. And I don't put it in a water bath. So if you people out there make flan, do you put it in a water bath? Because I just don't care enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it totally wrong. Once I find like a flan recipe that I really like, I think, because this is a different one than I've done before, I might do it both ways, like try it with a water bath and try it without a water bath and see if I have a preference. But it tastes like flan, so who really cares? But this looks a lot better than the last one that I had done. This does use sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk. In the past, I feel like I've only done it with milk. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, so I finished making the empanadas. The dough is so hard to make. So I ran out of dough. I obviously like cooked those ones a little bit too much. And then I used pot sticker things to do a little bit more. So we'll see. Hopefully they taste good. Okay, so I am making maduros. This is the first time that I've ever done this, because my preferred method of eating a plátano is tostones. I'm a salty, not a sweet kind of gal. But these, I let them ripen. They were, I don't know if you could see here, pretty ripe. And even like just taking the skin off. Sorry, I'm also roasting cauliflower. But anyways, just taking the skin off was so much easier because it's so soft. And this, like all of these were so soft. Like I feel like you can kind of see. But anyways, I'm heating my oil up. Forgive my dirty stove. And yeah, so I'm gonna attempt to fry these, and hopefully I doubt they're gonna taste bad, but hopefully they taste like really good, you know? Okay, so here are my maduros. I clearly let the oil get too hot. I had a little piece of one, but it was like a harder plátano. So I think I had 3 plantains that I was cooking, and so I think some of them were a little bit softer than others. So we'll see. I tasted it. I mean, it tastes fine, but we'll see once I get like one that's really squishy. Okay, I just had a little piece, and yeah, it was good. Not as good as tostones, but I accept. I was gonna say I'm gonna end this vlog right now, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about Oscar Wao first. So I assume that clip will be after this, and then I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, I just wanted to do a really quick just end to the vlog. So I mostly wanted to do like an end to the vlog so I could talk about Junot Díaz because I, feel compelled to for some reason. I do just want to say I think it's so funny because obviously I've talked trash on that book in a couple of videos and IRL, and I get two responses. The response is either good for you, that man is trash, like whatever. Maybe not that man is trash. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but basically people are either like super on board with me DNFing, or people loved the book and are maybe confused by my actions. So I will say, and the people that love the book most of the time say like they learned a lot about the Dominican Republic's history from that book, which I didn't get to that part, I guess. Like, I mean, he talks about Trujillo a little bit at the very beginning of the book, but I don't know. I didn't get to the part, I guess, where he talked about the Dominican Republic's history and stuff, and Trujillo specifically. And I'm surprised that he would, based on like what the story was about. I don't know. Whatever. What I have to say to these people is The Feast of the Goat, which I have not finished, but by Mario Vargas Llosa. I think that's the order of those names. Mario Llosa Vargas. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Anyways, that book is like straight up about like the end of Trujillo's like regime, and it talks a lot about like the stuff. So I would recommend that book, especially if you haven't read Junot Díaz. Is not a Dominican author, but he talks about Trujillo a lot. And again, I haven't finished the book. It was one of my failed buddy reads. And then also How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents, I just finished. And it's definitely about the sisters. It's not really about the DR specifically or Trujillo specifically, but there are like touches. I don't know. I guess it's hard because like I'm coming at it with a different perspective than a person who is not of Dominican heritage is coming to it. I didn't know a lot about it growing up, and I still don't know as much as I should know probably about it, but I definitely have like some awareness and understanding of it. So I don't know. It's kind of like when knowledge trickles into your brain as opposed to like you learning a bunch at once. So I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like sad a little bit that this is like the book that is representing a lot of Dominican culture in pop culture or like in the greater scheme of things, because, and again, I didn't read the whole book, so I can't really, I'm almost compelled to read the whole book so I can like speak to this better, but life is too short and I'm really not going to do that, but I'm so close to doing that. I'm going to pause because my cat's using the bathroom. Sorry, our litter box is out here. So anyways, it just basically hurts my feelings that that's like the image of the Dominican Republic that is like put out into the world. And I obviously, I'm not the first person to make any kind of comment about this. Like obviously there is a problem when you are from a culture that is not like super well known in the United States, like from whatever region or whatever culture it is. And there's like that one book, that one defining book. Are you also 2 cats, 2 butts, whatever. So let me maybe rewind a little bit. Yeah. So basically my impression and my whatever of Oscar is that he is in a family that values machismo over everything. And if he's not, making it with all the ladies who are probably called sluts if they get with any guys, whatever. If he's not acting in that way, whatever, then he's not considered like a real man. And then he gets fat and nerdy. And so he blames the fact that he can't get any girls on the fact that he's fat and nerdy, which is bull. Jake just called me. So basically he's a boy who has learned bad values and who blames others for his inability to be a proper man. and he calls girls skanks and like is just so rude to them and like gross and pervy and just disgusting. And that it just bothers me. It bothers me, and I feel like I'm being a little over the top and a little bit too irate, possibly, because I understand we've all been there. We've all been like looked down upon. I mean, maybe not everybody, but like I sure have. Now my battery or my phone got full of space. Basically, hopefully anything in this is coherent. It just, I want to say, I understand the feeling of wanting something or desiring something or someone and not being able to have it for whatever reason, and having people make fun of you, and like feeling like you're an outsider. Like I have had all of those feelings, but I still, like, my problem, I guess, is with the fact that Junot Diaz is trying to portray Oscar as like this poor young boy that, like, you know, blah, 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 whatever has happened to him. And it's like, no, that's not it, okay? I'm not into it. If you love the book, I'm happy for you. If that's fine. I just don't want to read it. I read plenty of stuff that other people think is horrendous. Like, I think everyone just like gets a book at a different time in their life and it hits them different, and that's whatever. So sorry. I just want to like preface, I guess I'm postfacing what I've said, because I do know that a lot of people love The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wao. Love it. And I hate hating on things that other people love, because I'm always worried they're going to think it's a judgment on them when it clearly is not. It's just a difference in taste. And again, every time we come to a new book, we're a new reader because we've learned from the last book that we just read. So that's my little like rant about that. But I did also want to say, which I think I was trying to say earlier and I got cut off by the cat or Jake, that part of my problem is that this is what people think of when they think of the Dominican Republic. And that hurts my feelings. Clearly, I was born and raised in the United States, so I'm not like exactly like, you know, a fresh immigrant or something like that. But it is in my heritage. And it matters a lot to me what people's perceptions of the DR are. I know we've got a lot of problems like colorism and like all kinds of crap. And I totally acknowledge that. And I am going to touch on that when I do my Julia Alvarez review. But I'm still like, you know, proud of my people, okay? And I don't want this to be the only representation that people have of the island. So anyways, basically read Julia Alvarez because she knows where it's at and blah, blah, blah. Also, he kept using the N-word and it just like bothered me so much. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? Like, anyways, so that's my rant on Junot Diaz, who I will never be reading ever again. I was already, and I feel like I've mentioned this before, This Is How You Lose Her. Didn't love it very much. Was a little confused as to why everyone loves Junot Diaz so much. And then with this, it just like really solidified the fact that he is not for me. So things that I did want to mention that, yeah, I don't know. I also feel like part of my problem is that like all of my Dominican influence is woman based. Like my mom, my aunt, and my grandma. My grandma married an Hungarian, my mom married an American, and my aunt married an Italian. So like the only Dominicans that I like, you know, really, really know are women, except for my cousin Gregory, but he's like wonderful and great and like has none of those hang-ups that are in that book. So it's just whatever. So anyways, yes, I will say tostones are delicious. If you have a chance to eat some, do it. They're so good and they are really easy to make at home. And yeah, I'm gonna go because I feel like at this point this video is gonna be way too long and I'm probably gonna have a lot of awkward editing because of the fact that my phone kept cutting me off, or people and cats kept cutting me off, and I might delete some of my rant because I might have gone on for like 10 minutes about why I hate that book. So, I understand, baby. I understand, but mommy needs this right now. So yesterday I had like finished my DR vlog and I even exported it, so I was ready to upload today. But when I was in bed, I read a few reviews of Oscar Wao, and I decided that I was going to maybe redo my talk about Oscar Wao. I'm probably going to leave just a little bit in it just because I want you to know how irate I was and how emotional I was. But I do feel like maybe I was, I'm not going to say unfair, but maybe not like super coherent because I was so agitated by the book. So I'm just going to make a few comments, I guess, addressing things that people have said about this book. We know we all have different opinions. But for me personally, I understand why people like the book, maybe. Like they relate to Oscar as a character because he's an outcast, he's made fun of, and like all of this stuff. And so people relate to that. I was an outcast. I was made fun of. I do not relate to him at all because I don't know. I feel like his attitude about it is like very much like he deserves something and he's not getting the thing that he deserves. And that's never been my attitude about things. So I think that might be the disconnect that I'm having, that I feel like he thinks that he is missing out on something and it's like not being given to him when he's due it, which could be not fair because, again, I only read the first 33 pages, so I'm not really sure, but I can see why people would enjoy reading a book about someone who is an outcast because that is a relatable feeling, because most people, especially most bookish people, I would say, I don't even know anymore if I'm recording anything because my cat is pressing buttons with her mouth. Baby. So yeah, basically I guess I understand that. I just, like, for me, my version of an outcast is not him. I am going to read pieces of the book, and these are the reasons why I DNF'd the book, okay? Why with the N-word? Like, I just don't understand. So he's like talking about how he's like dating two girls, and he's like 7 years old, and how it was just a stroke of pure genius that convinced him to kick it to them both at once. Then he's crying, and his mom says, "Dale una galetazo," she panted, "then see if the little puta respects you." He's being forced to pick between the two girls. It didn't take him long to decide. After all, Maritza was beautiful and Olga was not. Olga sometimes smelled like pee and Maritza not. Maritza was allowed over at their house and Olga not. And then he's talking about Olga, the girl. Even her breasts, when they finally emerged, were floppy and terrifying. Once on the bus, Olga had called Oscar a cake eater, and he'd almost said, "Look who's talking, puerca," but he was afraid that she would rear back and trample him. His cool index, already low, couldn't have survived that kind of paliza. Would have put him on par with the handicapped kids and with Joe Locorotundo, who was famous for masturbating in public. And then it's stuff like this, like, anywhere else his 000 batting average with the ladies might have passed without comment, but this is a Dominican kid we're talking about in a Dominican family. Dude was supposed to have atomic level G and was supposed to be pulling in the bitches with both hands. Everybody noticed his lack of game, and because they were Dominican, everybody talked about it. It's just like, I just don't, it like annoys me that this is the perception of the Dominican Republic. And I mean, I know it's like not like really the perception, but it's annoying to me that like one of the most popular books by a Dominican American author is, you know, perpetuating these like stereotypes. There was someone I was reading after I read the reviews of The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wao. I was reading the reviews of how the Garcia girls lost their accent, and they were talking about how much they appreciated the father figure in that book because, like, I mean, again, I don't have a Dominican father or anything like that. I don't have like Dominican male influence in my life, but it is nice to see like men not being total like shitheads, basically. Like, I just don't know why
it just really bothers me. And I mean, maybe that's because that's how this guy grew up, Junot Diaz, but it like sucks because there's not that many people from the Dominican Republic that are like well-known authors. And so this is the perception, and it just sucks. So gross. So like his uncle saying, start with a fea. Coge that fea y méteselo. So like start with an ugly chick. Find an ugly chick and stick it to her. And it's just like, why? He wasn't safe even in his own house. His sister's girlfriends were always hanging out, permanent guests. When they were around, he didn't need no penthouses. Her girls were not too smart, but they were fine as shit. The sort of hot as balls Latinas who only dated weightlifting morenos or Latino cats with guns in their cribs. And then again, I know I read this in my other video, but I'm sorry, Marisol, I don't marry ignorant bitches in like a daydream he's having about coming back after like becoming really famous and this girl like being in love with him and being, you know, whatever, like, you know, wanting him. It's just like gross to me. It really, all I can think of is Reddit red pill, like these women hating men like behind their computers that are like mad at women for not wanting them. That's like all I can think of, and it fills me with pain and distress. So I don't know. Again, there's a very strong possibility that there's something in this book that is really good. I can't personally get past this like sad, pathetic like rage that this guy has that he can't get a girl. It's like all the focus is on whether or not he can get a chick, whether or not, you know, like he's being a Dominican man because a Dominican man can like get a girl and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, to me, again, his actions are gross. I'm also hurt that this is the only portrayal of Dominicans that people, or not the only portrayal, but like one of the biggest Dominican like cultural things that people in the US like get. And I don't know, it just like hurts my feelings. So that's that. I will say that all of the Spanish language in it does fill my heart with joy. So I was like having a lot of really conflicted feelings while reading the book, because those made me feel very happy, because it is like a very specific type of Spanish and it just makes me happy. But yeah, I can't get over like how disgusting Oscar is, in my opinion. Like I can't, that's it. Like, that's it. So that was what I wanted to say, a slightly less ragey, I guess. And again, like, I can't really like speak that well to the book because I didn't read the whole thing. So, you know, listen to people that have finished it, I guess, because they know more about the book than I do. But it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Read How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents. It's so, so, so good. So good. And Julia Alvarez was actually alive during Trujillo's regime, and Junot Diaz was not, okay? Not to be like you have to have lived it to experience it, but I feel like that gives like a weight and a meaning and a heart and like a depth to her book that I was not feeling in this Oscar Wao like at all, you know? Like he was born, I don't know when he was born, but it was after, I'm pretty sure he was born in the 70s, and she was born in 1950. So like she experienced that shit because Trujillo didn't die until 61. So, you know, again, you can write about things you weren't a part of, but I do feel like having been there, I think gives like a special weight to her words. And I think that it's a much more powerful book, and whatever, that's it. And I just went on Goodreads, and Oscar Wao has 246,000 ratings, and How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accent has 26,000 ratings. Like, is this kind of this is what I'm saying. This is my true problem with this whole situation, is not about Oscar Wao or about Junot Diaz. It's about the fact that like men's stories get told more. her story is so much more like her father, like they had to flee the island because her father was like involved in a plot to try to assassinate Trujillo. Okay? And so they had to flee to the United States. So I just, like, to me, that's like such a more powerful, like, history that has so much more in it than Junot Diaz. And again, I don't really like know a ton about Junot Diaz. I don't know a ton about Julia Alvarez either, but it just really pisses me off that there's a 200 and I can't do math. There's over 200,000 more ratings for the Oscar Wao book. Why? Can someone explain that to me? Like, I'm just upset, you know? So it's more, if Oscar Wilde didn't have all this hype, and if it wasn't like so well loved, and if it wasn't like so well lauded or whatever and won the Pulitzer, I probably would have given it more of a shot, but it just like infuriates me, all the things that I've said already. I feel like I've talked too much about this, but like, I cannot believe the Julia Alvarez book has less than 30,000 ratings. Like, that is bonkers. Anyways, I am actually done now. I apologize.